Hi, welcome. So you've learned a lot of Power BI so far. And remember, we started with Excel, SQL. So in this video, we are going to be doing a Power BI project. And it's going to be an interesting one because we are going to try to link to MySQL database, which is a real life scenario for most data analysts where there is a database. In this case, we are going to link to MySQL Workbench database. Then we are going to connect there, bring the data into Power BI, do some cleaning, and then build a dashboard for top management or for our audience. So it's really going to be a very complete project, which is almost like what you have in real life. So hope you are excited to do this project along with me. Let's go and let's see how to get it done. So remember when we're doing the SQL, we created a database. Let me just log in and then you would see. So we created this database company limited and we used this script to create that. So it had to do drop database if exists, create database company, then this is what it's created so far. So I'm going to leave a link for you to have this script to just copy paste here and run, and it's just going to create this database automatically for you. And then we are going now to go to Power BI and connect from Power BI here to that database, which is like a real life scenario where if you connect to that database, each time there are some changes that are done here, it's like you're connected to the live database. Each time the changes are done here, you automatically see the reflection in your Power BI reports. So it's really very interesting. So let's do that now and see how far it goes. So the first thing is we need to get data, and then we need to choose the source of the data. So you would see here SQL Server, but that is not SQL Server we are looking for. What we are actually looking for is MySQL. So this is what we are actually looking for. So let's click here and try to connect. So when we try to connect here, if you're a first-time user in Power BI, you would notice that it is saying this connector requires one or more additional components to be installed before it can be used. So let us all install it together. So we go to learn more to understand what is needed. And this is what is actually needed. MySQL community downloads. And this is what you need to get under that connector to MySQL. So you need to download this to be able to go through this so that when I go, I can say no thanks, just start my download. So if you already had it downloaded, you would have no issue. You would just automatically be able to access your MySQL. Then they're going to ask you what is it, the database name and all the other things to be able to access it. But now let's open it and then we install it. So you have to install this. Let's just take the typical install it, and so that we can be able to connect from Power BI to your MySQL, which is in your Workbench. Remember, we looked at SQL before with Workbench, so you can always go back and take a look at that. It's been an interesting series, right, from Excel, SQL, and now the project for Power BI. So finish. Then now we need to go back to our Power BI. Okay, so let's see now. If you try again, see what is going to happen. So we go on more data sets. Then you say MySQL. Click there. So because you need to restart it. So let's restart. Let's close. Don't save. No need. Go back here. Then go back to Power BI so that the changes can take effect after this restart. So you need to restart it to be able to see the changes take effect. So our Power BI is loading. Let's go back again to get data here. And then now we are going to choose our MySQL again like we did. So let me just click there. It's searching. So we have many options that will pop up. So it's really interesting to know that you can connect to so many databases with MySQL and with so many databases with Power BI. and MySQL is just one of them. So there are really so many databases like we've seen here in the previous videos while we're introducing you to MySQL and Power BI. So there's so many databases here. So let's go to our MySQL again. Then we take that one. So when we click now, we have this possibility of configuring or connecting to MySQL because we've installed that connector. So now we are going to say, what is the server? How do you know the server? Let me show you. So if I close the Workbench and I open it again here, you're going to see the server that you need to put in. This is the server here, your local host 3306. So you need to type this exact thing to be able to get to this server. So this could have been a live server. They just need to give you the IP address of the server, and then you will be connected to it. So localhost colon 3306. Let's go back there. So we say localhost colon 3306. Now you need to specify the database because in that server there will definitely be many different databases. So you just need to say this is the database I would want to connect to. So you need to go back now here. Let's click here. And then we get the name of our specific database. So this is company underscore limited, company underscore LTD. So you come back to Power BI and enter that exact database name so that it will give you access to that exact database, company underscore LTD. So let's see, let's edit again. So company, I think I press enter abruptly. So underscore LTD, and then let me check on advanced options. Okay, so here you just click on OK, and let's see. Now you're connected here. So because I've connected to it, normally you would be able to get put in your password and then put in your username so that you can be able to connect to this. So now we are connected here, so you can always do more research on how to maybe enter your name, which will be root, and then your password, so that you can be able to access that database. So I'm accessing it easily because I've already entered my root and my password when I want to log in to connect to the database. So just do some small research, do the same thing, continue from where I was, so that you can enter your root and your password. Then you see you have access now to the MySQL database. So if you see, this is our customer table, this is our sales table, this is our staff table. So if we go back to Workbench here, then we do select, we'll see that this is our staff table, Michael Male 25. And then if we come here, we have Michael Male 25. So we have the same data. We are now connected to this, our database here, through Power BI. So remember, just do some research, try to see how to connect. You need to enter your root and then your password to be able to get to this page. Since I already entered it, it's stored in the cache, it just came directly here. So let's move on then. Now I'm going to select all three and go to transform data. So I would like to do some small transformation, even though the data from the MySQL database was relatively clean. But let's go now to the Power Query and see if there are any transformations that we need to make to this data. So I'll just look at staff table. So I see the matricule number is up here. These are the matricule numbers. That looks okay. The staff name, these are the different staff names. The staff sex, these are the staff sex. Age, it looks okay. And then what I want to do is just give it a shorter name so that when I'm doing the visuals, it would be easier. Even though we'll still do some renaming, as I showed you how to format visuals. So I can just call this staff, just simplicity. Now it's changed to staff. The next thing now I can look at is the sales table. So I see staff code here, units sold here, revenue here, cost, profit, customer code. Everything looks relatively okay, and I can just only rename it to to sales. That's all I need to do. Rename it to sales. So we have it now like sales. Now let us continue. The next one now is the customer table. So let us see, there's the customer code, there's the customer first name, there's the customer last name, customer sex, customer country, age. This looks okay. I can also call this customers. Now let's do something interesting. So we want to be able to do our dashboard. Our management is more interested in seeing the performance in terms of regions, like continents. So the countries might be too detailed for them. They want to see top line, how are the continents performing. So in this data set, we only have countries and we don't have continents. So we'll need to bring in some data that has a mapping country and continent and be able to enrich this data so that when we do our charts, we can select a new column here, maybe called continent, where this USA will be North America, Cameroon will be Africa. So that is what we need to do now. And then let me show you how you can do that, how you can merge or bring in new data to existing data. So we are going to go now to a new data source, and then we are going to go and say we want to get a new data source. So this, we know that from the internet, we can easily get something which links countries to continents. So let's take web. And then now what it's going to do is going to ask us, what is the URL that you want us to go and see if there are some tables there. So let's go to our Google, and then we try to see. Now we Google countries by continents to see if we can get a list of like something like this. There is this country and this continent, this country and this continent. So we are trying to see if we can get something like that. So let's open this one up and see if we can get a table that we could extract and easily get that data. So, but here we don't see like a column, a row. So let's go and check at this one here. When you open up this one, you can see that you can easily have your countries and then your continents here. So which means here we can see each country, like as we saw, Cameroon will be under Africa. So this is something, an interesting URL we might need. We could get solve our problem with this URL. So let's copy this URL now. So this is interesting to know. You can add as many tables of Power BI as you want, even from the internet, and get answers. So we click and we paste here, paste that there, and then we click on OK. So when we do that now, we are trying to import, or Power BI is going to go and get the data from that web page. So let's see how it's going to react. So now we have a proposed table. Power BI has seen one table which contains countries and continents. And then let's see, there's another table here. So this, we see there are so many tables. So we just need to choose the table that pleases us. And for now, this first one looks okay because it's what we are looking for. Again, you come here, you see Cameroon, you see Africa, you see, so this is the table that we need. So we are going to now accept this one, say okay. And then we want Power BI now to bring it to us to the Power Query along with the other tables, since we are in Power Query and requesting for a new source. So it didn't ask us if we want to load or we want to do ETL. It just understood that we are in the ETL mode, Power Query mode. So it came with a new table. So we can call this table maybe continents or any name you want to. So, but then it's just to be able to have something that you can remember or refer to. So if we call that continents, now we see that the top columns here, we need to move this top rows up here. We've seen that when we're doing Power Query. So you can always go back and take a look. This is we are just bringing together all our learnings. So now we have the country here, and then we have the continent here. So we are ready now to bring this in as a table and then see how we can merge it to the customers table so that we can be able to enrich it and be able to get that new point of view, or that new angle, or that new dimension of a continent. So let us come now to our customers here. And what we want to do is we want to do a merge, so that we are saying, check here, every country here, Holland here, put Europe, things. So we want to do a merge like this. And this is where we are going to do that, the merge. So we could either do a merge query as new. It's going to create a new merge here completely, a new table with the new, with this all and the new merge, or we could just merge it directly on this by this table here. So let's just merge it here. Go to merge, and then now we have to specify. When you see merge here, you select a table and matching columns to create a merge table. So we need to select the table here. This is the customers table. What is the matching column? The matching column is the customer country. So we have this customer country here, and then we want to be able to match it to this other table called continents. And we know that the common column for them is like, these are the countries, so these are also the countries. So now there's a privacy warning that comes up. Privacy level is used to ensure data is combined on undesirable data transfer. So this is a warning, so we can just ignore it for now, and then we press save. Now Power BI is trying to estimate the matches, and it has seen already that 14 out of the 20 here, 20 countries here, we found a match already for a continent. So what does it mean? It means there are 6, maybe that the spelling is not exactly the same like is on this table here. So we might need to go back and do some cleaning to respell them, to see how to adjust them so that the lookup is going to work. So let us do an OK here for now, see what we have. So with this, we have this continents table here, and the values are listed like this here. So to be able to see the continents themselves, we need to click here, and then we select the columns that we want to see. So for now, we don't want the country because we already have the country here. And then we don't want to use the original column name as prefix. So we are going to untick this one. So we are only left with the continent here. Then we press OK. So now we see that we have Brazil, South America, Cameroon, Africa, Japan, Asia, Togo, Africa. So it's interesting that we have been able now to use the web to bring in a table and add continents to our countries. Now, where we notice that we have the difference is with the USA. So I guess it was written like United States of America. So let's check. Let's go back to continents. Then we check around U to see how USA was spelled, so that we can try to spell it the same way and let it get the lookup. So this is it, United States of America. So let's go to the copy, go back to customers, and then now one objective is to replace every instance of USA here to United States of America, so that we can do the merge again, and then it's going to identify the USA and then tell us it's not America. So let's do that. Let us go here, and then we right click. We are going to see replace values here. This is it. Click on replace values. Then we say we want to find the value USA, and replace it with this value here, United States of America. So let's click on OK here. OK. So what we will do now is to do this merge again with the new data that we have. So for some reason, it seems like Holland is not included in that list. So we might need to add Holland manually. But then let us go back and do this merge again and see if it's going to pick up United States of America. So let's just click here, right click, remove this, remove, do the merge again and see if it's going to pick that one. So merge, choose your country, customer country. Then you choose the second table. We say it's a continents table. We take the country, and now we see the selection matches 18 of 20 rows. So it's now been able to pick up the United States of America as we expected. So if we click here and then we go to just the continent and then we click on OK, you see now we have North America matching with United States of America. So this is interesting. And now what is left is Holland to be able to replace here. So let's check Holland. What do we have for H? So I guess if we go here and we type maybe Holland or H. So unfortunately we don't have Holland here in this list. So we might just need to add it manually or go back and get a better list. But then it's just one country. So let's just add it manually here. So now we can just say all the null should be replaced by put Europe. So let's just go there. Then we do again, we replace values. Then we say everywhere you have null, let's just respect the case. Null, give us Europe. Then we press OK. And now everything looks fine. So this we are able to, we've added the continent now to our data, and we are able to provide our top management with the top line view of what is happening per continent, not just necessarily country level. So the country level might be a detail second layer, but the first layer, they want to see what is happening at the continent level. So I think everything looks okay for now. So if it's that's the case, you can click on close and apply. Then you're going to your Power BI is going to update that, and you'll be ready to start building your dashboards. But before that, let's go and we'll look at the relationships to be sure that the relationships are in place. Because remember, if you don't have the relationships in place, they are like your VLOOKUP in Excel, or they are like your joins in SQL. So you have to be sure that your relationships are in place. So let's go there and look at our relationships. So we can check here and see that our Power BI automatically detected the customer code and the customer code here from customers. And you can see a one-to-many. So the customer code here appears one time, but here it appears many times in the sales, which is good. Now it didn't identify the fact that matricule number was the same as our staff code, because we know that from our data that matricule number, again, we've seen this before in SQL. So we already know that our matricule number here is actually our staff code. So let's just go there and do that. So matricule number, this is how we link them. We carry it and bring it on top of staff code and we drop it there. So we could as well click here to edit the relationship, look at the properties. But for now, what we've said is the staff code is linked to the matricule number. So if we had made a mistake, we could have chosen any other one here. But then this is it, staff code EMP02, EMP02, matricule number EMP02 is here. So we say okay. And again, this is a one-to-many. So the matricule number on the staff table, like it's a dimension table. So it occurs one time. And on this sales table, which is a fact table, it occurs many times. So that's why you have the one-to-many, which is okay. So we see our star schema is already coming. So we could still decide to get the continent to be linked here, like we've done. So you could say country here should be linked to the customer country here. So we could pick this, drop it here, and then we still have that relationship now. So this new table continents is talking to this customers table, and then the staff table is talking to the sales table. So it's interesting to see how you can put up all these relationships and come up with one big table, which is very auto responsive. So now let's move on here, and then we can now start building our visuals. So let's just say we want to start by having our cards as we saw in the last video. So let us start with our card. We could start with a card here. Let's just say we want to be sure we have cards for the key variables, key KPIs, so that we are sure we have them available. So let's just take them here, put them here, and be sure that our cards are there. So we have that, this one, and then maybe we have this one. So here, okay, I'll just close this, and then we adjust our cards. So you can do them. I'll just show you a sample, and then you can always change based on your audience and improve on the visuals based on your reality and the story you want to tell. So I'll just do something, show you, and from there you can always develop it to suit your taste as much as you want. So let's just say we want to first of all show profit, because these are the top line things that management wants to see. So what is the profit we made? For example, we made 3 million profit. What is the revenue? We want to see what is our sales activity level, what is the revenue we made, and then we might also want to see what is the cost. Are we doing some cost cutting? So generally these are important KPIs that management want to see, so you can adjust them how you want. And remember, you can do lots of formatting. Like let's say if you want to change this to total profit, it's possible. Just need to type it here, total profit. You can change the background color. So I'm not going to go too much into detail so the video doesn't get too long, but then with this, or you press enter, you're now talking total profit. You could do here, same here, 5 million total revenue, 2 million total cost. Then I'll not go into detail to that. So now you might want to add a text box. Let's just say you want to add a text box to say I want to be able to just call the company name. Let's just stretch this like this. Here you can adjust it how you want. So let's just call this company limited. So let's just call the name of the company limited. Maybe put it down here. So maybe reduce this. So if you want more visuals to be available, reduce this one, reduce. So there are lots of things that you can do, or just do sample, and so that you get the idea. So here we could always increase the font size here. Could always increase the font size here. Let me just select it, increase the font size. So these are easy things to do. Then we can always maybe get something like you want to put it in bold, or if you want, you can come here to properties, check for background. So remember, you can do a search. We've seen this in earlier videos already. So you can decide to make the background maybe this color, maybe just showing an example. So that's just an example. And then now you can start putting your visual. So this is the first, these are the top line. We can decide to say we want to show the company the profit per continent, because that is maybe what they really wanted to see. So we can now get the continents in, either from here or from the customer here. So you can just get the continent, get your continent, then you get the profit. Now you see by default it's already showing me that map, the map. So but then I prefer to have it like this. So I'm going to change it to this format so that we don't have to deal with the map there. So sum of profit by continent, you can modify the title as much as you want. So let's see what's blank here. So we have Africa, North America, we have a blank, and then we have South America and Asia. So let's see why we have that blank there. Let me go to my data there. So let's see if we get this continent here, if we'll get the same blank. So let's try this continent here, continent from here, and then we have the profit, put the profit there. Then we have this. So that's okay, we use this one. So we have all the the continents here. So now let us move on. Then we can decide to name it as we want, total profit per continent by continent, but then I'll not go into details so that this video doesn't get too long. You've seen it already in previous videos. So this is our continent. So we can also decide to add drill, because there might be times we want to get Africa and remind ourselves of the countries. So we can decide to go in and say, give me the country. Let me just get the country from here. Let's get the country from here. So give me the country, so that you see automatically it gets the drill. So if I put this drill and I go back up, I have Africa. And if I click on Africa, I'm able to see the countries under Africa: Cameroon, Nigeria, Togo, Uganda. So remember, we looked at drill in an earlier video, so you can always go back and take a look at it. So now the next thing we might want to see is we just want to see what is the partitioning of revenue per continent. So you might want to get, just like generally, how much revenue do we have in, which continent is contributing to the highest proportion of the revenue. So we can drop revenue there, and then we can also drop our continent there. So we get a view of, in just like we see Africa is giving the highest proportion, contributing the highest to the revenue. So you can always rename this, you can always do lots of things here. But then we can, for example, this legend, might decide to get this legend to be continent. So if I take continent as legend here, like this, so it can still be like that. And then if, for example, you want to drill, you can drill down. You would see Brazil, Cameroon, Holland. You can drill up, and then you get that. But then let's just leave it as it was. Take up this one. So here, let me go back here, undo, come back here, then click here and say I want to get this as a legend out. Yeah, I want to take this legend out instead. So we leave it like that. So you can always drill up, drill down as you want. So you can always go drill down, drill up as you want. Now, another thing the management now might want to see would be, what is the relationship between cost and units sold, for example. So are we improving units sold as we spend more? So let's just be sure that we're spending in the right direction. So remember, we saw in the last video that would be a scatter plot. So you can just put your scatter plot here, and then you come here, you carry it to this space here. Then you're able to pull it like this. So now you say, what are the values? The values might be, you want to see units sold. Let's just say you want to see units sold, and then you want to be able to see how your revenue and your costs are going along with units sold. So you just want to be sure that you're spending as more revenue, as the costs are increasing, your units sold are increasing. So you want to see the correlation between your revenue and your cost. So the more cost you're spending, your cost in the right direction is pushing revenue. So you see that it's positively correlated. So that's just an example of how you can use now a scatter plot to show the relationship between two variables, not more than two variables. So now you can, down here, most of the time I like to put more of like the details. So there are times you want to see, okay, I want to know the profit per customer. So there are many customers. So we can just take maybe the customer name, and then we want to know the profit per customer, and then we can just get a bar chart. So here we are able to see that these are the top customers, this is the order. So we might want to just know them and know who are profitable. So this is more of the details. So if you see top line up here, some middle relationships, then more of the details, who has done this, who contributed to this profit. Now we can also look here, you can decide to get like you can just say, let's get a gauge, and then we say our gauge, we can do units sold there. So let's get units sold here, and we can see this is the units sold here. Then now we can decide to say we also want to see the staff performing. So we want to know which staff perform better. So staff name and then unit sold. So we want to know which staff perform better. So this could be like this. Again, you can rename them. You can add lots of things here, like let's say the legend. I'm going to just take staff name and add on the legend to make it so that we can see clearly. Same as you could add the customer name here, customer first name as a legend. So there are lots of things you can do, but I don't want to make the video too long and to show you how you can get a simple dashboard like this, but has lots of information and it's really well organized. So if, for example, we want to see, this is Africa, see, we see everything here, and then we could decide to drill down. So let's just drill. So let's go here. You can decide to say, if we do our drill, so you can decide to see these are the different, let's go back up here, click here. So we see these are the different, let me just close this. These are the different countries in Africa, and you can see clearly how everything is changing here. So we can drill up, as well as we could come here and see this customer, what's happening to this customer, and then we are able to see other relationships. Let me close this. We are able to see what is happening to that customer, or this one, or this one. So it makes it interesting. We could have a slicer that we could add here, as we've seen in previous videos, to be able to filter out just parts of the data. So you can really take it to any level and make it as interesting as you want. But then this would be something that you can work on. Then at the end, you might decide to get a view. So choose whatever is cool for you. Maybe if I choose that, let me just click here. So maybe that one, or you can decide to go for any color you want, maybe this one, or whatever you want. So whatever looks cool for you is just to show you how you can build an interesting dashboard from the data set that you have while connecting to your MySQL database. So I hope you have been able to learn a lot from this project, connecting to a real database like you do in real life, and also being able to merge, bring data from the web, bring them together and come up with a good dashboard with the aggregated values at the top, some relationships in the middle, and then more detail right down. So hope you enjoyed this. See you next video. Wish you good data luck.